Hey, and happy 2020. Sorry this video is late, but yeah, holidays happen and stuff. So just a quick catch up. You guys read through the gospel narratives of the beginning of Jesus' life on earth. Beginning of Matthew, beginning of Luke, beginning of John, corresponding with the beginning of Genesis. And then the week after that, there was some Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, Acts 7, and the book of Hebrews. I'll get to the book of Romans in my next and final video in a week or so, before classes start. Anyways, real quickly, in Matthew, you see you see the genealogy where Matthew, or the author of Matthew, puts Jesus in touch with the lineage of David and his forebears. It's really cool. He puts 4 different women in the genealogy, and all of those women are of, not so great of reputation. You got prostitutes and foreigners and teenage pregnancies who aren't married. So it's just a kind of really redemptive genealogy, not something you usually think of in lists of who begat who. Matthew also does this really cool thing of putting Jesus as the second Moses, which also corresponds with the whole concept of the Exodus for all of the Israelites. Jesus in the river, and Jesus going to Egypt and then coming back. And then if you keep reading in Matthew, he begins with his teachings. So after Moses leads the people out of Egypt, he teaches. He sits on a mountaintop and teaches, and that's what Jesus begins doing in Matthew chapter 5. Luke continues just with that Exodus theme. Jesus goes into the wilderness for 40 days and comes out, which is also in Matthew. Powerful stuff. John really just focuses on Jesus as the new beginning. In the beginning, the first 3 words of John are the first 3 words of the Bible. Genesis 1, in the beginning. And so God is doing a new creation through Jesus. There's a lot more we could comment on, but I think those are some really important things to be aware of, and how the Old and New Testament connect together. Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, stuff to be aware of, what God is desiring to do in the hearts of human beings, who and what he wants us to be. Acts chapter 7, you have Stephen, before he gets stoned, recounting the stories of the Old Testament and how they lead up to Jesus. He likens Jesus to Joseph, who was rejected by his brothers, but then became their salvation. And something else that I'm forgetting right now, but for sake of time, I'm not going to go back and look. And then Hebrews just recounts how Jesus is not only the fulfillment of all the Old Testament law, but also superior to all that God had revealed before. And so we look to Jesus as the author and the perfecter of our faith. Jesus is the center of everything, which is one of the reasons Christmas is so amazing, is to remember who he is. And so as we begin a new year, may your sights be set upon Jesus, the author and the perfecter of our faith. And may you continue to dig deeply for him in the Word. And if you're still reading Romans, have this whole narrative in mind as you do this. God's call of Abraham, God's establishment and redemption of the people of Israel, their fall and their exile, and then God's promise of a new Exodus that is fulfilled in Jesus, that we not only will be free physically, but we'll be free eternally and spiritually, in every way, in every shape, in every form, free socially, free mentally. May God give you freedom. Amen.